Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and Pokemon fans of the world, MegaCrasher is here, and I want to present you guys with a very fresh start to our series, MegaCrasher's Crazy Pokemon Sun and Moon Pokemon Review videos. And basically what's going to be going on in this sort of series is like you've seen in previous videos of mine where I do Pokemon reviews of various Pokemon. Well, this here is no different, but I hope that you guys enjoy the new revamped style that I'm going to be doing these sort of videos in from here on out. So the first Pokemon that we are going to be breaking down in full detail is none other than Decidueye, aka the final evolution of the Grass-type starter, Rowlet. So the first thing that we're going to be taking a look at are its stats. As you can see right beside me, we have ourselves base 78 on the HP, followed by 75 defense and 100 special defense. So this Pokemon is obviously not going to be the bulkiest Pokemon, but it definitely can be very dependable when it comes to taking hits, and depending on how you run Decidueye, it can be a very dependable Pokemon that can check and counter a lot of Pokemon. Now we take a look at its offenses. We have 107 attack and 100 special attack, meaning that this Pokemon is very much capable of running both a physical or a special set, or hell, maybe even go a mixed set. Now, of course, its lowest stat comes in the form of its base 70 speed, which, I mean, it's not terrible. I mean, hell, it is the fastest out of the 3 starter Pokemon, so, I mean, let's give some props where props is due. But base 70 speed is not really that bad of a speed stat. I mean, a lot of people would complain to say that it's rather slow, especially given the fact that we were really building up hope at this Pokemon being very fast. But then again, you want to know something? You can't have it all every single time. And you want to know something? Decidueye's base stats are actually really good. I actually am growing to like these stats. So with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, it is now time to move on to its strengths and its weaknesses. Woo! Alright, ladies and gentlemen, so as you can see right beside me, we happen to have its strengths and its weaknesses. So you see that it is definitely going to be having a very interesting set of resistances and weaknesses. Starting out with the weaknesses, it is weak to flying, ghost, fire, ice, and dark. Now, the thing of it is that because of its dark type weakness, that also means that it's going to be very much vulnerable to the likes of Pursuit and Knockoff. But the thing of it is that even with a typing like this, it is still actually not that bad, because if you think about it, Ghost cancels out 2 of Grass weaknesses, that being to Poison and to Bug. And we take a look at its immunities. It is immune to Normal and Fighting, which means that it's definitely going to have some really solid switch opportunities. Not to mention, it is also resistant to the likes of Ground, Water, Grass, and Electric, all of which are very common and very dangerous typings to be having to deal with during battle. But with Decidueye being a Grass Ghost typing, you really don't even have too much to worry about. Sure, again, it goes back to it being very vulnerable to the likes of its Flying, Ghost, Fire, Ice, and Dark type weaknesses. But if you know how to build a team around Decidueye to help patch up its weaknesses, then you should be good to go when it comes to using Decidueye, baby. Woo! Now, last but not least, let's take a look at its typing and abilities. I know I kind of did this a little bit mixed up and a little bit backwards. Please don't knee choke me. I'm a little bit shaky when it comes to this new way of doing the series, but I guarantee you, you will not be disappointed! Woo! Alright, ladies and gentlemen, so getting on to the typing, if it hasn't been obvious enough already, it is a Grass Ghost typing. And with this typing, it's as I've highlighted with its strengths and weaknesses, it has a very unique set of resistances and also a few weaknesses to worry about. But overall, I think Grass and Ghost is a pretty solid typing, but of course, that's just my opinion. Now, we take a look at its standard ability known as Overgrow, which is pretty standard amongst Grass-type starters, which means what happens is that if you are under a third or below of your health, then what will happen is Overgrow will kick in, and it will boost the power of your Grass-type moves by 50%. Now that right there is a pretty solid ability, but we take a look at its hidden ability, Long Reach. And Long Reach is a very, very amazing ability. And what this ability does is it doesn't allow for you to make contact regardless of what moves you choose. So it could be moves that originally make contact with the opponent, but guess what? With long reach, that's not going to happen. So you know what that means, right? You know what that means. That means that Iron Barbs is going to be an issue. Rocky Helmet isn't going to be an issue. Rough Skin isn't going to be an issue. So you can easily use the likes of U-Turn, Brave Bird, any Pokemon moves that are physical, that make contact. You have nothing to worry about when it comes to making contact and potentially having recoil to pay the price. But with all that being said, ladies and gentlemen, let's go ahead and let's navigate our way to Pokemon Showdown with some sets on how to use Decidueye! Woohoo! Alright, ladies and gentlemen, so now we get into more of the meat and potatoes of the video, because this right here are some set ideas on how you can utilize Decidueye potentially to the best of its abilities in battle. So the first set that I have here is an all-out attacking set. Now there's a few ways that you can run this set, more specifically in terms of items. Now I have the Life Orb, which allows for me to have free range to switch between moves, and it also boosts the power of those moves by 30% at the cost of 10% of your health. But you can also run things like Assault Vest, you can also run things like Choice Band, hell, you can even run things like Choice Scarf, and you know what, you could also even run something like Leftovers, because you want to have a little bit of residual recovery at the end of each turn. That's entirely up to you, and you could even go as far, okay? You can even go as far to run its signature Sneeze Stone, that being Decidueye Z. If a holder is using a Decidueye with Spirit Shackle, it can use Sinister Arrow Raid. Now, that move is a crazy, crazy move that has a ridiculous base power. I believe its base power is 185 or I don't remember off the top of my head, but I'll annotate it if I am in fact wrong, which most likely I will be doing. So anyways, we're going to be having the long reach ability, which allows for us to not make contact with any of these moves, regardless of whether they make contact or not, which is very good when it comes to preventing any unnecessary residual damage from the likes of, like I said, like Rocky Helmet, you know, Rough Skin, Iron Barbs, just to name a few. So the first move that we got is going to be coming in the form of Spirit Shackle, which is a physical base 80 ghost type move, and also the signature move of Decidueye, and it prevents the target from switching out. So, yes, you could trap a Pokemon that doesn't want to be trapped, and you could easily switch out and take advantage of that, because they're going to have to stay in until Decidueye switches out. And I just gotta say, this right here is gonna be some crazy shenanigans, if I do say so myself. So up next, we have ourselves Leaf Blade, which is a very solid base 90 grass type physical move, high critical hit ratio, can't go wrong with that. Up next, we have ourselves Brave Bird. Now, the reason for Brave Bird, okay, is because, say if you're faced off against the likes of Mega Venusaur, which would otherwise give you a lot of trouble in battle, Brave Bird is a flying type move that is super effective against the likes of Mega Venusaur. It's base 120 power, and it's physical, and it has a 33% chance, a 33% recoil, but if it is Life Orb or Choice Band boosted, it's going to be doing a hell of a lot of damage to Mega Venusaur. And Mega Venusaur's best offense would be Sludge Bomb, which, due to its partial ghost typing, it's only going to be doing regular damage against you. So up next, we have ourselves U-Turn. Now, U-Turn is a really solid move to have on something like Decidueye, because not only does it allow for you to scout and build momentum, but it also allows for you to do chip damage as well. We take a look at the stats, and we're going to be going with a Jolly Nature. You want to have as much speed as possible. You know, speed is key, in my opinion, although you can choose to run Adamant if you want. And if we go ahead and we go and choose Adamant, you take a look. It has 344 attacks, so that right there could make the difference when it comes to just having that much more percentage in terms of power. So we're going to be running max attack, max speed, regardless of whether you choose to run Adamant or Jolly Nature. And the rest is going to go into special defense. Now, we go ahead and we take a look at the next set here. This is a set that is meant to set up and sweep, or meant to set up and pass. So, with this set right here, we're going to be going with the Life Orb once again, although you can have other options like Leftovers, Lumberry, no choiced items. I will say, do not use choiced items for a set like this. That is just, that's not a good idea, okay? Not a good idea. So, in my opinion, Life Orb is the best option because, like I said, at the cost of 10% of your health, it allows for you to deal 30% more damage in your attacks. Once again, we're going to be going with the likes of long reach. That way, when we make contact with the opponents, we have nothing to worry about in terms of suffering from any unnecessary recoil. So we have ourselves Swords Dance, which allows for you to boost your attack up by 2 stages. We have Spirit Shackle, that's going to receive that boost because it's a physical ghost type move. Not to mention, it also locks down your opponent and they can't switch out until Decidueye switches out. Up next, we have ourselves Brave Bird, and I gotta say that I like the coverage that flying and ghost type moves have. I mean, just between those 2 moves right there, you're gonna have a lot of coverage. I mean, it is insane, okay? And the last move, I choose Baton Pass because it allows for you to make more out of being a utility set as well as a sweeping set. Because if you set up Swords Dance and somebody switches in and if they happen to be slower than you, you can simply Baton Pass out and Baton Pass into another Pokemon that will not only receive the boost, but also be able to deal with the Pokemon that's swapped in to force your Decidueye out. However, and this is a big however, you can run something like U-Turn, and what that will do is not only will that allow for you to switch out and act as a pivot, but because of the Swords Dance boost, it's going to be doing more damage. And we take a look at the EV spread, same thing as the last time before. We have ourselves 252 attack, 252 speed, and I'm choosing a Jolly Nature because you want to be as fast as possible when it comes to a set like this. That way you can set up fast and you can sweep or pass fast. So the next set that I have for you guys is a little bit of a weird one, okay? Like, I wanted to try and make Decidueye be as bulky, as much of a support and pivot Pokemon as possible. So we're going to be going with a specially defensive nature with 248 EVs into its HP, 252 into its special defense, and 8 into speed. Now, of course, you can actually flip-flop this around and make it an impish nature with max defense if you so choose. I mean, you can't go wrong with either spread right here. I mean, if you are looking to have a physical wall/tank on a team, then this right here would be a good spread for you, or vice versa. If you're looking for a special wall/tank, this set would be good for you as well. So we have ourselves, once again, we have Leftovers as going to be the item of choice. That way it allows for you to have passive recovery every turn. And we have Long Reach, once again, being the superior ability in my opinion because of the likes of U-Turn, which is going to make contact, but with Long Reach, you're not going to have to worry about the consequences of making contact with your opponents. So first, we have ourselves Roost. And see, this right here is just the beginning as to why this Pokemon has so much utility and is really solid of a Pokemon in battle. Roost heals 50% of your maximum health in a single turn. And the thing of it is that it doesn't have a flying type to be removed. So this is one of the few Pokemon that isn't a flying type that has access to Roost. I mean, I think that's pretty damn awesome. Now, something else that's awesome, Defog. I cannot believe this thing has fucking Defog. And what happens here is not only does it lower the evasion of your opponents by 1 stage, but it clears all of the users and the target's hazards, which means that this thing is just going to be so amazing. Now, because this thing isn't a partial flying typing, you will suffer from spikes damage, from sticky web, from toxic spikes, so you best have a cleric/wish supporter on your team in order for Decidueye to work its magic. But even still, by itself, Roost and Defog makes this Pokemon hella awesome in battle when it comes to being a supportive Pokemon. So up next, we have ourselves Spirit Shackle because why not? I mean, Spirit Shackle is a great base 80 physical ghost type move that prevents your opponents from switching out. So if your opponent was to say, think that you were going to switch out and they switch in a Pokemon that wasn't a good switch in, and you lock them down with Spirit Shackle, well, you can have your way with them. You know what I'm saying? But if all that doesn't work out, you can simply opt out and go for U-Turn, because not only do you pick up momentum and be more of a utility/pivot, it deals damage as well, and again, you don't have to worry about having any unnecessary recoil with contact thanks to Long Reach, which does not make contact with the opponents regardless of what move you're using. So, like I said, with the EV spread, it's really up to you. Like, you can make it a physical wall, you can make it a special wall, it's really up to you, depending on what your team is lacking. So the next set that I have for you guys, well, this isn't really a set, but this is sort of like to illustrate just how much utility this thing has. And this isn't even all of the utility that it has. I mean, you can run an all-out boost and pass kind of set. You can use Leftovers, which allows for you to have recovery at the end of each turn. It really doesn't matter what kind of an ability to use here in this situation. You're not using any attacks, so it really doesn't matter. You know, you can use Overgrow, Long Reach, whatever. Swords Dance to boost up your attack stat by 2 stages. Nasty Plot to boost up your special attack by 2 stages. You can use Work Up to raise the attack and special attack by 1 stage. And then bada boom! Craziest baton passer in the room! How you doing? Basically, what I'm trying to say is you can set up stats all over the place and then pass them out. I mean, it is so amazing how much utility this Pokemon has. And then we take a look at the EV spread. We're going to be running an all-out Jolly nature, or actually, no, sorry about that. You can run a Timid nature because it allows for you to take less damage from the likes of Foul Play and Confusion. We can run 2 48 EVs into its HP to have an odd HP number, so you can have more Stealth Rock and Hazard switch-ins. I forgot to mention that at the beginning of the program. I always like to run odd HP numbers, that way you have more switch-ins for hazards and all that stuff. Pro tip. And we have ourselves 252 into its speed with 8 into defense, or you can run special defense. It really doesn't matter. But basically, you're meaning to be as fast as possible when it comes to being able to pass any stat boost to your teammates. Now, the last set that I have for you guys comes in the form of a special set, which Decidueye can use very, very well, in my opinion. So we have ourselves Life Orb, which allows for you to deal more damage at the cost of 10% of your health. We have Overgrow this time because we're not going to be using Long Reach as an ability due to the fact that none of these moves are making contact. So Overgrow, definitely the best and superior ability because it allows for you to deal more grass-type damage by 50% when your health reaches a third or below of its maximum health. So the first move that we got, Nasty Plot. Boost your special attack setup by 2 stages. Do I even need to say anything else about that? It is crazy. Next up, we have ourselves Shadow Ball, which is a base 80 special ghost-type move that has a 20% chance to lower the target's special defense by 1 stage. Up next, we have ourselves Energy Ball. Now, it kind of sucks that this thing doesn't get Giga Drain because I think Giga Drain would have been a really awesome move to have on this thing because it would mitigate somewhat the recoil from Life Orb. And not to mention, with Nasty Plot boosting it, you would just be sucking back more health. You know what I'm saying? But you know what? You got to work with what you got. You know what I'm saying? So thankfully enough, this thing does have Energy Ball, which is a base 90 special grass-type move that has a 10% chance to lower the opponent's special defense by 1 stage. And then lastly, we have Baton Pass. Now, the thing of it is that if you are running Nasty Plot and then Baton Pass, like I said, you're going to be passing free stat boost to the recipient. Of course, if you're not aiming to be a setup passer slash sweeper, you can run Roost, okay? You can run Roost with this set right here, which allows for you to restore HP and be more healthy and more reliable and more difficult to take down in battle, and you'll last much longer as a sweeper as well. Not to mention, it also mitigates Life Orb recoil, so I think that's pretty damn cool. Now, the last thing that I want to talk about is the EV spread. We have ourselves 252 special attack, 252 speed, 4 special defense, Timid nature, all out, baby. We need that speed, man, if we're going to be making an impact in battle and going balls to the walls with Decidueye, because the thing of it is that you have other Pokemon that have base 70 speed that are pretty damn dangerous, okay? You got Breloom, which, by the way, Decidueye completely counters the shit out of Breloom. You have Bisharp, which, yeah, no, because Decidueye gets completely destroyed by Bisharp. However, you have other moves to make use of, such as, like, if you're running a physical set, you have other moves to take care of. Like, you have the likes of, let's see, where is Low Sweep? Where's Low Sweep? I'm pretty sure this thing has Low Sweep. Let's see. Oh, wait. Here we go. Yes, you can run the likes of Low Sweep, which has a 100% chance to lower the target's speed by 1 stage. So, if your opponent thinks that you're going to be switching out, but instead you nail him with a 4x super effective Low Sweep, well, there you go, my friends. I mean, Low Sweep may not be that powerful of a fighting-type move, but you know what? In a really odd way, it can work out. I mean, especially if it's boosted by the likes of Swords Dance, which, you know, you can easily slap on a Swords Dance, you know, sacrifice coverage or whatever. So yeah, that's pretty much all I gotta say. So, with all that being said, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you guys enjoyed this video and the special revamped edition of the way that MegaCrasher does his Pokemon reviews! Woo! Woo! With that being said, though, baby, if you enjoyed this video, make sure you fire off the like. Let's see if we can start out... Well, let's start out big, okay? Let's say 25 likes for this video because this is Pokemon Sun and Moon, baby. And we're breaking down each of these Pokemon in a competitive way, statistically, you name it, man. And if you want more content like this, make sure you rate, comment, share this video, and subscribe today to Mega Crash in the community for the best, and I mean without a shadow of a doubt, the best Pokemon Sun and Moon hype that there is today on YouTube, and just overall the best hype and entertainment that you can find right now, right here, when it comes to Pokemon content done by this crazy nuthouse known as Mega Crasher, because you guys already know the deal by now, my friends. When we're community type pack type as one, you know that we shine brighter than the sun and the moon combined. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you next upload! Woohoo! Now it's time to get back to playing more Pokemon Sun and Moon! Yeah!